Welcome to the broadcast and live stream of Moonshot Radio. Moonshot Radio is generously sponsored by the PNC Grow Up Great program. And here's your host, Dr. Nivea Torres.
Greetings and welcome to Moonshot Radio, where every moment is an opportunity to learn. I'm your host, Nivea Torres, Executive Director of the Kindergarten Readiness Collaborative, also known as KRC. Our vision is that all children in Indian River County will be ready for kindergarten. We proudly partner with the Moonshot Moment, who is transforming the next generation in Indian River County by having 90% of all students reading on grade level by the third grade. With me today in the studio is a regular contributor, Brooke Flood. Brooke is the School Readiness Coordinator for the School District of Indian River County. Brooke, welcome back.
Thank you. Hello. I got to give my intro.
We're so happy to have you here today.
We are pleased to be here. We have some exciting guests with us, so I can't wait to share.
Oh, do you want to introduce our guests?
I would love to. So over to my left, we have Miss Stacy Fletcher. She is a VPK teacher from Vero Beach Elementary. And Miss Josie Ruggieri. She is also a VPK teacher at Pelican Island.
And I'm really excited about this show because it's the start of the school year. And today we're going to learn what happens in a VPK classroom during the first months of school. Right, Brooke?
Yes, absolutely. We've been kind of giving everybody little feelers as to where we're going. So today is our first of many, we hope, of a day in the life of a VPKer. And the great thing is we just got started with our year, so we're only about halfway in. We're about ready for parent conferences, so a lot of learning has happened in the short time that we've been in school.
A lot of learning does happen during those first weeks of school and those first months of school, and we want to talk about that today. So I'm going to ask you, Stacy, what happens during those first weeks of school with your little ones?
Well, the first few weeks of school, we really work on connections with our classroom, then building community in the classroom, having a connection just as a teacher and the student, just to make that connection to where they're not scared to come to school, that they know a familiar face, and connections with the classroom, just to know the routines, the rules, how to go to the lunchroom, how to go to the library, how to sit on the carpet, and just really focus on all those kind of skills.
Brooke, Stacy said something that's very important. It reminds me of when you were here talking about standards. She said building a sense of community. Absolutely. Isn't that a really powerful thing to do?
It is for sure. Our school family is our most secure and safe place at school. And our teachers and our little ones work very hard to build that school family. Parents are involved. The teachers are involved. The social emotional side of our little ones becoming prepared and ready, working on those pre-readiness skills, is so vital for our little ones to be successful when they get to kindergarten and beyond.
And I'm sure building that sense of community is something that is pivotal to making sure that you have a good school year. Absolutely. Because you're setting down and creating a routine for success, right, Josie?
Yes. And it's very important that as soon as the students come in, you greet them like a family. You greet them like you would at home, and you treat them with respect, and each one is unique and different, and you have to accommodate their needs.
So how do you greet your students, Josie? Is there a particular secret greeting that you have for them?
Yes, they have options to choose from. If they want to give a handshake or a high five or a fist pump, then they use the words and they tell you, and then they go ahead and give it to you before they come in the classroom, and it kind of forms that sense of family before they come in the classroom.
How has your thinking changed? So you've been teaching for about 4 years,
yes.
Josie. How has your thinking changed in those 4 years? I'm sure that maybe what you're doing this year might be a little bit different from last year because every year you learn something new.
Yes. Well, the students in the classroom are all unique. So when they come in the room, you have to kind of get to know them and kind of get to know their needs. So like students you have this year may not be the same as the ones you had last year. So every day is a learning experience.
Oh, most definitely. Absolutely. And what about you, Stacy?
The same thing. You know, every year you just never know what's going to come in on that first day of school. Are they going to cry? Are you going to have a lot of criers? Are they going to be young? Are they going to be older? Are they going to be mature? You know, to understand the rules and regulations of the school. every year is just such a difference, and you have to accommodate to those kind of students. You never know what kind of class you're going to have in a year, but building that school family makes a big difference, because we tell them, when you're at school, we're a family, and we treat each other with respect, just like you do at home with your parents and your other family members. So
that's very important. Brooke, I'm sure that you spend a lot of time when you do professional development and training with your teachers talking about that, the importance of understanding that every class is different, every child is different, correct?
Absolutely. And that, I think, is the blessing that we get to experience every year. While some years are challenging and we learn how to deal with new behaviors or new fears, a lot of our world is changing constantly. And there's new fears from our little ones coming to school. But we build our strength up, and each year it makes us even stronger, and we know what to fall back on and how to help that next little one. And if we don't, then we all put our heads together, we research, and we find the next thing that will help that little one be successful to continue our journey.
We want to make sure that all the students are successful, right?
Yes.
And I know that you came today to share with us and our viewers, listeners, some of the activities that you've been working on during these first weeks in VPK. So Josie, is there one that you want to share with us about maybe writing?
Yes. When the students come in the classroom, we try to write their name in yellow, and we always start with the first letter of their name being capitalized and then going lowercase. And we try to teach the students to use a pencil and trace their name. So they start from the top and then go down and trace each letter. And they do this about every day as a sign-in. As soon as they come in the room, they sign in. And eventually from this, they learn to write their names in the correct order.
That's a very important skill, and I hope that the parents and grandparents who are listening are taking note of that. That's something that they can help at home with. Brooke, why is this skill so important, and is it related to any particular standard of learning?
Absolutely. So as we've shared before, with our ages 4 to kindergarten standards, we have 8 different domains. And in this particular area, it's our standard of our fine motor. So that's in our physical development. So being able to properly hold a pencil, to build those finger strengths that we've talked about before, to be able to write, to be able to pick up a pencil and a crayon. The other big thing about this writing their name is to remind children that we start our name with a capital letter, and every letter after, until we get to our middle or our last name, are lowercase. And we begin to compare and contrast uppercase to lowercase, the correct sequence. We've got math in there. We've got our literacy in there. But the biggest is, and I don't know if Miss Fletcher is willing to show us, Nivea has a pin. One of the great, it's so easy for our families to kind of teach their little ones a trick as to how to properly pick up a pencil or a pen or a crayon or a marker.
So we lay the pen down in front of them, and we have them grasp it with their thumb and finger. We practice first in the air, and then we pick it up and kind of throw it backwards, and then that's how we help them hold our pencil. And a lot of kids just don't have that fine motor to hold it strong, to be able to write or to be able to color or to draw. They just don't have the strength in those fingers anymore.
Right.
Yeah, and you were sharing with me before the show, and I really want our viewers and our listeners to pay close attention to this, because this is alarming to me, that you have seen a trend that is concerning, that there's some little ones who don't know how to properly pick up a pencil, and that there's not coloring, because now there's a lot of coloring on the cell phone. There are apps that do this for us, right?
Yes. I feel as though sometimes we're losing that lost art of coloring and using crayons, using paints, using markers, because we are so on the go, and we're so, the phone is easily accessible. But to be able to be successful later on in life, that fine motor strength has to be there for a child to be able to pick up a pencil, to be able to write, not only write their name, but eventually reading. That there is that connection between the note taking and the reading as you get through school. Being able to physically write it out transfers that information to the brain. So if our little ones are lacking in that, there's lots we can do to fix it. Clothespin games, squeezing a clothespin.
Right.
I'm sure the ladies have other ones. That one's always my favorite. But it's not something we want our parents to panic about.
Okay.
It's something that we can work on when they get to the classroom, but it's definitely something we want them to be aware of. There are plenty of washable crayons, markers, paints, you name it, out there. let your little ones explore. That's part of our domain about creativity of the art through the arts. You know, this is all coming back, and it's going to help our little ones become even stronger students by the time they get to 3rd grade and beyond.
That's excellent. So let's get back to the crayons and the
Yes,
markers and the
please.
painting and all that good stuff. Stacy, you have an activity that is sort of related to maybe geometry
Yes.
in VPK.
We do geometry in VPK. We start out learning our shapes, and we have smartboard technology in our classrooms now. So we do get to use the pen, which also helps with fine motor, and we're drawing and learning on the smartboard with geometry. And then we introduce these geoboards, which some people might think that pre-K kids can't do, but it's good for fine motor. And these are some that my kids created. They said, look, I made a rectangle. It's 2 sides short, it's 2 sides long. So they're using descriptive words to tell me back. And I made 2 triangles. So they're not only using fine motor to do the shapes or to make whatever they create,
That's wonderful.
but they're also learning geometry and remembering what shapes they've learned. So, and some of them, made an L for
Literacy.
my Landon. He made an L for, that begins with my name. It's a capital L, Miss
Okay.
Fletcher. And here's a T for Thomas. So they also know that it begins with a capital. So we're working on those skills as well. But it's good for fine motor and creativity. They come up with all kinds of things on here. So
Do you know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of those. It was similar to that where you would make a pot holder. Do you remember that?
Yes,
Did you
yes,
ever
yes.
have
The looms.
The looms.
Yes.
I'm just listening to your explanation. I'm like, I thought I had one of those when
I
I
had
was
some of
little.
those in my first pre-K classroom.
Right?
And they love doing that too.
Yes, and that's so engaging.
Yes.
It's the colors and it's the shapes and all of that good stuff.
And look
This
what
is-
I created.
Yes,
Look what I created.
I created
They're
that
so
myself.
proud.
And like you say, the fine motor skills, because being able to really, is whether it's stretching that rubber band or the band and placing it correctly, that's great.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break to hear from our sponsors, and we will be right back.
At the Kindergarten Readiness Collaborative, our vision is for every parent, regardless of income or zip code, to have the knowledge and tools they need to raise healthy children that are prepared for kindergarten. Our mission is to support our partners in developing a high-quality early childhood system that is family-centered. Our outreach and parent engagement specialists connect with families and build trusted relationships. KRC has chosen Fellsmere and Gifford as our 2 focus areas in Indian River County. Our Fellsmere office is located downtown in the City Annex, and our New Gifford office is located within Victory Park Apartments. Our administrative offices are now located adjacent to Healthy Start and Treasure Coast Community Health in Vero Beach. The Kindergarten Readiness Collaborative, developing a high-quality early childhood system for all children in Indian River County.
Everyday activities are great for finding moments for talking and teaching new words. Babies' brains grow 80% in the first 18 months of life. As parents and your baby's first teacher, you can help build their brain with language and literacy skills. Involve the whole family. Ask questions. The more words babies hear, the larger their vocabulary can grow. Support early childhood education by talking, reading, singing, and family engagement. This message has been brought to you by PNC Grow Up Great and the Florida Grade Level Reading Campaign.
Hello, this is Shelley Ferger, CEO of Dogs for Life. Dogs for Life is a nonprofit organization that trains service dogs for veterans and non-veterans in Indian River and St. Lucie counties. We're talking today about our annual Halloween Dog Costume Parade and Pet Expo, to be held October the 19th. Registration at 2, parade at 4. This event is free and open to the public. We'll have live entertainment, canine demonstration by the Sheriff's Department, and prizes. Contact Dogs for Life at 567-8969. Dogs for Life, BB VerBeachCleaning.org.
Hi, I'm Rob Falana. What a treat to have our house cleaned by a company that takes pride in its work. Vero Beach Cleaning has given us wonderful service for many years. It's so encouraging to have cleaners who are friendly and warm as they go about making our house look its best. Service is consistently thorough. Workers faithfully arrive for each regular appointment. They provide top-notch care and are honest in business. When they are done, it smells great and looks amazing. I can tell Vero Beach Cleaning has left a special touch. Our household would recommend Vero Beach Cleaning to anyone.
Thanks, Rob. VeroBeachCleaning.com.
It's fun to visit Audrey's Feed and Tack, a distinctive country and western emporium. For simply Southern living, you'll find the finest in cowgirl couture. Styles that are uniquely Florida for the whole family. Upstairs in our boot room, you'll find Ariat, Dan Post, Laredo, and 10 Hall boots. The biggest selection this side of the big lake. The freshest and finest feed, hay, and supplies for your chickens and horses and most other farm animals. Audrey's, a great adventure. 66th Avenue and Oslo Road. Like us on Facebook.
Hello, residents of Indian River County. The Solid Waste Disposal District is reminding you of 2 new ways to recycle in your community. Your used cooking oil can now be brought to any of the 5 customer convenience centers or the main county landfill for safe disposal and repurposing. Also available at these locations, please drop off loose plastic film recycling that includes plastic bags, shrink wrap, and bubble wrap. For more information, visit our website, ircrecycles.com, or call 226-1764.
Where every moment is an opportunity to learn. I'm your host, Nivea Torres, Executive Director of KARC. And with me today in the studio is the VPK team from the School District of Indian River County. We have Brooke Flood, who's the School Readiness Coordinator. We have Josie and Stacy, VPK teachers in the district. Yes. We're so excited to have you here today with us. Josie, I want you to share with our viewers and our listeners a little bit of what you do with your students for journaling, because this is so powerful to me. Our VPK students are writing, they're recording their feelings. What do you do with your students?
We have a composition book, and each student has their own composition book. And weekly we have a theme, and according to the theme, we have 1 question a week. So we ask the question. Like this is, what is your favorite thing to do at school? Mm-hmm. And they tell me what it is, and I write it in parentheses. And then they have to draw a picture, and they have to tell me about their picture. And they have to point to the picture and tell me what they drew and why they drew that.
That is excellent. You know, Brooke, those pictures are not very far from what I would actually be drawing.
Absolutely.
But they're very colorful, they're unique, and we're getting the children to express themselves. Yes. This is one of the things I wanted to ask you, Brooke, because we spend a lot of time talking about social, emotional needs of our little ones. Why is that so important?
Yeah. So it's definitely important as we're moving into kindergarten. It helps us to be aware of what's coming next. It helps us to be a partner in the community, to be able to be with our friends, how to manage our emotions, how to problem solve. Josie has my crown, but I want it. I'm not going to just run over and take it from her. I am going to walk over and say, I'd like that color, please. So just being ready, talking to many kindergarten teachers, they have all told us the academics will come, but if you send me a child that is able to sit for a small amount of time, raising their hand to ask to be able to transition across the room, verbalizing questions, sharing information, and just being able to problem solve, they will take that. The academics will come. So for us in the pre-K classrooms, whether here in the district and private providers, that's huge for us. That's the one piece that we're constantly encouraging. Talking, sharing, how do I handle it when I just want to cry and I just want to scream because I'm not getting my way, and how to breathe and bring ourselves back to here we are in the classroom. This is what we do to be able to answer and do that step that we're trying so hard to get to.
Of course. And how do you do that with your little ones, Stacy? How do you help them self-regulate?
At the beginning of the year, we focus on school family, and we do some conscious discipline with Becky Bailey. And these are some of my favorite books. This is Schubert's Helpful Day, and it teaches us that words have power, that our words have power. And we do, we can be a star. We can stop. We can take a deep breath, and we can relax when we are upset, when we're sad about being away from our parents, when we're sad because someone has our crayon, our favorite crayon. We stop, we take a deep breath, we relax, and then we use our words because they have power. And Big Benny in this story, Schubert had an apple for his new teacher. He was so excited about taking this apple to his teacher, and Big Benny just came in and pushed him down and took his apple. And we said to Benny, how did it make you feel? Did you like it when Benny did that? No, he did not. So his words were powerful. And he said, Benny, in a big voice, because we use our big voice to say things to our people when we don't like it. I don't like it when you take my apple. That is for my teacher. I need that back, please. So we teach them that our words have power, that it's okay to be sad, but it's not okay to hurt our friends. Absolutely. Because we don't hurt our family. You are my school family, and I want you to be safe at school. I want you to be safe and calm at school.
I like that, school family. So is there a breathing exercise that we can do as a tip for our viewers and our listeners that you would recommend that you do with your little ones? Anything that you can think of?
Yes.
Okay, Josie, what do you
smell
have?
the flower.
Smell the
So you're
flower.
breathing in, and then blow out the candle. You're blowing out. That works really well.
Oh, it's so peaceful.
Oh, well, you know, it's true. They say that saying that everything I needed to learn, I learned in pre-K or kindergarten. When you were talking about if Josie has the crayon, I'm not going to go and grab that. I'm thinking, boy, oh boy, as adults, we need to revisit some of those lessons about sharing. And Stacy, you talk about school family, and that is so very powerful because it is your second family, and you spend so much time there. So those are things that we want to make sure that our viewers and our listeners take note. And the smell the flower breathing exercise, let's start putting that into practice. Brooke, before we sign off, I do want to bring up your website because this is an excellent reference point for folks. Is there something in particular that parents and folks should be looking for on the website?
So when I know Wayne's pulling up our website. Wayne, if you scroll down or click on where we're able to go to the different sides to the menu up in the green, I think it's up top. Yep. Click there. There should be a place right there in the middle. It should say our standards. Might be down a little bit farther. I feel like we've kind of shifted our website just a little bit. But we'll get to our Office of Early Learning, where the standards are located. When families click on there's a Families tab. When they scroll down, they'll be able to choose their child's age. And one of the coolest parts about that is the first books. So it shares with the family everything. So for us in pre-K in particular, it gets us to that space where it talks all about our little ones, what they should be experiencing during the pre-K year, what it feels like to be a 4-year-old, what's expected. There's some good things and there's not some good things, but we want those not so good things so that we're prepared for those good things down the road. So it looks like our website's being a little bit funny. So how about if we show next time?
We will definitely show that next time as a reference point because I think it's important that families know and understand what they are to expect in VPK. I want to thank all of you for coming here today because like you said at the beginning, Brooke, hopefully this is the start of subsequent shows where we can talk about what happens in VPK and we can sort of remind people about things that many of these things we learned when we were growing up. We need to go back to the pencil grip. We need to go back to coloring. We need to go back to tracing. And we need to go back to having conversations with our children, which is something that we always talk about here, right? Talking more, Josie, and having conversations with them. I like what you said in the beginning. Yes, let them explore. And I like what you said at the beginning, the welcoming and greeting them. Do we also do that at home? Are those things that we model for our little ones, right?
Yes, we highly encourage that. Yeah, have that glint in your eye when they come home as big as the glint in the eye that our teachers give them when they show up every morning.
Excellent. Well, Stacy and Josie, I want to wish you a great school year. Hopefully you will be back to share other activities with us. Brooke, thank you for keeping us grounded and helping us understand the importance of VPK. We want to make sure that all of our students in Indian River County are ready for kindergarten. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
And until next time, this has been Moonshot Radio, where every moment is an opportunity to learn.